Yesterday was a very special day for our country, Sri Lanka. We now have a brand new parliament, a brand new speaker, deputy chairperson of committees, as well as brand new deputy ministers. A very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast Rundown. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Well, this morning we have a small recap of what happened yesterday morning at the inaugural session of the 10th Parliament of Sri Lanka. Several other key local stories, as well as always, news from overseas. So do stay tuned with us right throughout. With that, let's move on to your top story for this morning. The inaugural session of the 10th Parliament of Sri Lanka convened yesterday at 10 a.m. To appoint the new Speaker, Deputy Speaker and Deputy Chairperson of committees. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya nominated Dr. Ashoka Ranwala as the Speaker of the 10th Parliament. Minister Vijitha Herath seconded this nomination. Since no objections were made, Dr. Ashoka Ranwala was unanimously elected the new Speaker of the 10th Parliament of Sri Lanka. This makes Dr. Ashoka Ranwala the third citizen of Sri Lanka after the President, who is the first citizen, and the Prime Minister, who is the second citizen. The Speaker of Sri Lanka is the third most respected citizen of the country.
රංවල සමැතිතුමා සුදුසුයයි මම යෝජනා කරනවා.
ග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමින් විසින් කරන ලද යෝජනාව මම ස්ථිර
RA අශෝක සපුමල් රංවල වන මම ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතාන්ත්‍රික සමාජවාදී ජනරජයේ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව ආරක්ෂා කොට අනුගමනය කරන බවට ගෞරවාභිමානයෙන් යුක්තව ප්‍රකාශ කොට ප්‍රතිඥා දෙමි. රැගෙනනු ලබන මන්ත්‍රී නාමලේඛනයෙහි ඔබගේ නමලියා අත්සන් තබන ලෙසත් කාරුණිකව ඉල්ලා සිටිමි.
හරිනී නිරේ ගෞරව බහුමාන.
Now, following the appointment of Dr. Ashoka Ranwala as the Speaker of the 10th Parliament of Sri Lanka, Dr. Rizvi Sali was elected the Deputy Speaker. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa proposed his name and Minister Saroja Savitri Polraj seconded it. Minister Sunil Handunethi, he also nominated Hemali Veerasekara as the Deputy Chairperson of committees. Her name was seconded by Samanmali Gunasinghe. Following this, the session was temporarily adjourned. The Parliament reconvened at 11:30 a.m. after President Anurukumara Dissanayake arrived at the parliamentary complex in Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte. Later, he presented the government's policy statement, and all the details mentioned in the President's address to the Parliament can be rewatched on our primetime news bulletin, which aired yesterday at 9 a.m. You could watch it on YouTube and our Facebook platforms of Newsfirst. Now, 29 new deputy ministers were also sworn in before President Anurukumara Dissanayake yesterday.
Garu Mahacharya Anil Jayan
ශ්‍රී ලංකා ජනරජයට පක්ෂපාත
රක්ෂණ සහ ප්‍රජා සවි බල ගැන්වීම නලින් හේවගේ මැතිතුමාදී
ආර සුරක්ෂිතතා නියෝජන ශ්‍රී ලංකා ජනරජයට පක්ෂපාත ශක්ති ප්‍රමාණයෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍ර
අනුගමනය කරන බවටද ගෞරව
නියෝජ්‍ය අමාත්‍ය ධූරයේ කාර්යයේ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව ආර
සම්පාදන
මහින්ද වංශ ජයසිංහ වන මම
කොටද මාගේ උපරිම ශක්ති ප්‍රමාණයෙන් ශ්‍රී
நான் வெளிநாட்டு வேலை மற்றும் வெளிநாட்டு வேலைவாய்ப்பு பிரதியமைப்பிக்கும் சட்டத்திற்கும்
ඉන්ටර්නෙට් වන මම පරිසර නිරතුරුම ව්‍යවස්ථාවට මොනීර් වන මම ජාතික ඒකාබද්ධත්ව වන මම
වීරරත්න මැතිතුමා කරු ජනාධිපති
ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සමාජවාදී ජනරජයේ
චතුරංග අබේසිංහ වන මම කර්මාන්ත සහ ව්‍යවසාය
දියුරුම් දෙනු ලැබුවේ වත්මන් රජ
වරාය සහ සිවිල් ගුවන් සේවා නියෝජන බවටද ගෞරව බහුමන වන මම කාන්තා සහ මගේ උපරිම ශක්ති ප්‍රමාණයෙන්
වන මම පළාත් සභා
මාර ගුණසේන වන මම ප්‍රවාහන සහ ප්‍රකාශ කොට ප්‍රති
සෞඛ්‍ය සහ ජනමාධ්‍ය නියෝජ්‍ය අමාත්‍ය ධූරයේ කාර්ය සහ
රත්නායක හෙට්ටිගේ උපාලි සමරසිංහ වන මම
රුවන් චමින්ද රණසිංහ වන මම රුවන් චමින්ද රණ
ක්‍රීඩා නියෝජ්‍ය අමාත්‍ය ධූරයේ කාර්ය සුන්දරලිංග ප්‍රතිමුව උත්කටமைப்பு வசதிகள் பிரதி அமைச்சர் சலிச குடியரசு
පාර්ලිමේන්තු කටයුතු නියෝග
උදෑසේලාගේ වෙළඳපොළ මధుර දහම් බණ්ඩාරගේ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාම වන මම මුදල් සහක්‍රම
ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉදිරියේ දියුරුම් දෙනු ලැබුවේ
උදයන්සේලාගේ සුසිල් රණසිංහ
මැතිතුමා ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉදිරියේ දියුරුම් දෙනු ලැබුවේ වත්මන් රජයේ ඉඩම් සහ වාරි මාර්ග නියෝජ්‍ය අමාත්‍ය ධූරයේ.
On to some more local news now. The first phase of the third term of government and government-recognized Sinhala and Tamil schools ends today. The Ministry of Education says that the first phase of the third term of Muslim schools will end on Friday, the 13th of December. The second phase of the third term will commence for all these schools on Thursday, the 2nd of January 2025. Well, meanwhile, the Ministry of Education, Higher Education and Vocational Education has decided to review all the programs that concerning education reforms that were implemented over the past 5 years. Ministry Secretary Nalaka Kalueva says that various proposals concerning education reforms have been put forward in the recent past by several committees and institutions such as the National Institute of Education or NIE. However, those proposals had not reached the stage of being implemented. Now, the Secretary says that following the review of these proposals and programs, a brand new education reform proposal will be put forward in compliance with the incumbent government's policy plan. Meanwhile, a special audit has revealed that over 1,000 licenses granted to foreign workers for importing electric vehicles have been misused. Auditor General WPC Karunaratne says that many foreign workers who were actually qualified to receive these licenses had not received them in the first place. He adds that a special audit report on this program, which was initiated by the previous government, has been handed over to the government. It will be tabled in Parliament in due course. Now, the Ministry of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs says that all parliamentarians will be given a fuel-efficient vehicle this time. Minister Anand Vijayapala says that MPs may serve the public using these vehicles during their tenure. He added that no luxury vehicles will be given to parliamentarians this time and that this decision was made to ensure the minimization of public fund wastage. Let's move on to more local news now. The Satyagraha campaign and strike launched by the academic and non-academic staff as well as students of the University of Ruhuna continues for the 4th day today. The academic and non-academic staff of the University of Ruhuna launched this strike action on the 19th of November, demanding the removal of Professor Sujiva Amarasena from his position of Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna. Well, last night a torch protest was also staged in Ballamadama. On to your weather update for this morning now. The Met Department says a low pressure area is likely to form over the southeast Bay of Bengal around the 23rd of November. Thereafter, it is likely to intensify into a depression over southwest Bay of Bengal during the subsequent 2 days. This system may intensify further and move near the eastern coast of Sri Lanka. The general public is requested to be attentive to future forecasts and bulletins issued by the Department of Meteorology in this regard. Meanwhile, the Met Department also says that showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the northern, north central and eastern provinces and in the Matale district as well. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places elsewhere over the island during the evening or night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and southern provinces. Fairly strong winds of about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Matale district. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, Uva and southern provinces during the morning hours as well. And as always, the Met Department requests the general public to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during these thunder showers. Let's shift your attention to news overseas now. Judges at the International Criminal Court or ICC have issued arrest warrants for Israel's Prime Minister and former Defense Minister as well as the military commander of Hamas. A statement said a pre-trial chamber had rejected Israel's challenges to the court's jurisdiction and issued warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. A warrant was also issued for Mohammed Deif of Hamas, although Israel has said he was killed in an airstrike in Gaza in the month of July 2024. The judges said there were reasonable grounds for the three men, as the three men bore criminal responsibility for alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity during the war between Israel and Hamas. Both Israel and Hamas have rejected these allegations by the ICC. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the ICC's decision as anti-Semitic, while Hamas said the warrants for Netanyahu and Gallant had set an important historic precedent. The impact of these warrants will in part depend on whether the ICC's 124 member states, which do not include Israel or its main ally, the United States, decide to enforce them or not. The White House said the US rejected the ICC's decision in this regard. Shifting your attention towards the war in Russia and Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin has said an attack by his forces on the eastern Ukrainian city of Dnipro on Thursday morning was carried out using, quote, a new conventional intermediate range missile, unquote. He said that this missile, codenamed Oreshnik, was a response to the use by Ukraine of US and UK long-range weaponry to hit targets inside the territory of Russia. Putin added that Russia could attack military facilities of these countries, which allowed their weapons to be used for these purposes. The US and UK authorized the use of US ATACMS and UK-supplied Storm Shadow missiles this week in a major change of policy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia's use of one new missile was, quote, a clear and severe escalation in the scale and brutality of this war, unquote. Earlier, Zelensky said this missile had the characteristics of an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, even as Western officials cast doubt on this theory put forward by him. The US National Security Council, meanwhile, said an experimental medium-range ballistic missile had been used against Ukraine, adding that Russia probably only possessed a handful of these weapons and they would not be a game-changer in the war. Well, that story brings to a close this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown. Since today is Friday and tomorrow will be the start of a weekend, I'll see you again on Monday at 7 a.m. right here on TV1. Until then, have a wonderful weekend ahead.